Now, a few weeks ago, I made a video where I predicted where each team in the championship would place, well, at least in my opinion. And, well, since then, there's been quite a lot of change in the league. Loads of new sign-ins. I think some managerial changes too. I think it's about time I did an update. All right, so the last video I made on this topic, I had 5 sort of categories, right? And I said for my final one, I'd do the exact league table, but bear with me. I think to predict 1 to 24 is a little bit challenging. I think the best way to do it is to categorize the league into 5 places like I did previously. So you've got teams, if I make sure I'm pointing with the right finger, there we go. Teams over there, there you go. Teams over there, they get promoted automatically. Playoff teams, sort of upper mid-table, lower mid-table, and then obviously relegated teams. You've got all 24 teams. I'm going to talk a little bit about them in more detail. Before we actually get into it, I just want to say I'm no like championship expert. I never claimed to be a championship expert or something. I've been a fan of Bristol City for a number of years, so I've learned the league fairly well. So if you disagree or I've got anything wrong in this video, please do let me know. So we're just going to start. I've got the crests of each championship team saved here. First up, we've got Watford. So I'm actually really impressed with some of the signings that Watford have made. Will they get playoffs? I don't quite think they're good enough to get playoffs, but on the quality of players that they've brought in, I reckon they could well be upper mid-table. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller just so we can fit all of them in. I'm going to go upper mid-table for Norwich. West Brom, obviously don't have Carlos Corberán anymore. I think he was just an unbelievable manager and they were kind of destined to go downhill after he left. Where do I think West Brom are going to place? They always feel like a safe sort of upper mid-table team to me, the West Brom. I don't think they've necessarily done any business to make them a genuine playoff contender this season. I don't know if any West Brom fans watching this would disagree. I think for me, they'll be sort of similar to Watford in that they'll be sort of upper mid-table. So I'm going to go upper mid-table for them. Wrexham, they've made some fairly astute signings, spent a bit of cash. I don't think they've quite done as well as Birmingham have, I must say. I think they're too good to go down. Absolutely too good to go down, but probably not quite of the quality to finish in the upper mid-table. So I'm going to stick Wrexham top of the lower end, I reckon, would be my view. That gives me Birmingham next. They've made some really impressive signings, spent quite a lot of cash in the transfer window. This might sound mad, right? But I have a genuine feeling that they could hit the playoffs this season. I really do. I think in Jay Stansfield, they've got someone who's going to score a decent amount of goals this season. Damari Gray, I think, is a Premier League quality player, really, isn't he? Where do I think Birmingham are going to finish? I'll put them in upper mid-table for now, and we'll see. We'll form our playoffs with the teams that we've got left, shall we? So that's Birmingham. We'll put them upper mid-table. Blackburn. I'm quite worried for Blackburn. I think they are probably too good to go down, but I'm a little bit worried with the amount of players that they've let go this summer. So I'm going to put them. I think they'll just escape relegation, but there might be a couple times this season where they trouble it a little bit. So I'm going to go lower end of lower mid-table for Blackburn. My team, Bristol City. Own fans, please don't berate me for this. Honestly, obviously we finished 6th last season, but I don't think I think our team has improved on last season, but I think the problem that Bristol City have is that other teams have improved more than we have and have overtaken us. But for Norwich, for example, I think they've definitely overtaken us. And I think there's a real genuine risk that Birmingham and Watford have too. I think we'll probably be sort of 8th, 9th would be my guess, 10th, something like that. So I think we're gonna be where we belong, back to where we belong, basically. Charlton, I said I was quite impressed with the players that they've bought from Luton. I think Amari Bell and Kaminsky are really solid signings for them. I don't think they're quite good enough to like sneak into the upper mid-table, but I think they're probably too good to go down. I think all 3 teams that have been promoted from League One this season, I'd actually back them to stay up. So for me, I'd probably put them around sort of where Blackburn are on this list. Too good to go down, but not good enough to sort of quite get to that upper mid-table. I do think Charlton will do all right this season. Coventry haven't necessarily improved all that much on where they were last season. They were a good, obviously, playoff level side last season. Where do I put Coventry? again, but now I'm just going to put them in upper mid-table and we'll see who we've got left for the playoffs. I think there's a few teams that I'm definitely backing for playoffs. We've got Derby next. It's going to be quite difficult to read Derby. They've made a couple of smart signings. I reckon they'll be teetering between like 14th, 15th. I'm going to put them here for the time being, and we'll see who else we get in. Southampton. I think 3 teams that have gone down: Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester. Strongest of those 2 teams are Ipswich and Leicester, in my opinion. I think Leicester have the edge on Southampton, but Leicester have a points deduction. And I have a feeling that Southampton's players will fare better in the Championship than obviously they will. But I think they might fare better in the Championship than some of the Leicester players will. I'm actually, given that Leicester have got a points deduction, and I think they're in some financial issues as well, I'm going to put Southampton as automatically promoted, I reckon. Hull. Now, they have really got some issues at the moment. They've got a 3 transfer window ban. I'm a little bit worried for Hull. And I tell you what, I didn't put them in their last video. But I'm looking at the other clubs and I think they're probably better than Hull. They didn't finish all that well last season either, did they, Hull? Despite having on paper what I thought was a pretty good Championship team, they were close. I think this season it could tip it for them, you know. I think Hull have a real chance of going down. Ipswich, I think they're just the number 1 team in the league, aren't they? They might lose 1 or 2 to Premier League teams, but I think the core sort of fundamentals of the squad will remain in terms of players. And also, obviously, Kieran McKenna is staying. And I think he's probably the best manager in the division. And I would say when Ipswich were in the Championship a couple of years ago, they were just levels above any other team in terms of the way that the manager got them playing. They just knew, every single player knew where every single other player would be on the pitch, and there was just always a pass on. So yeah, for me, I think it's Ipswich, Southampton to get automatically promoted, and I think Ipswich will probably win the league. That leaves me with Leicester. I think Leicester, they're going to be in the playoffs. Just on that points deduction, I don't think they'll go up automatically. They've obviously got a fantastic squad. I'd say on paper they're probably the second best team in the Championship, but I just think they just have troubles around their club at the moment. Obviously, the financial issues with the points deduction, and I just think in general it's a little bit shakier than the positions that Ipswich and Southampton are in. So for me, I'm going to put Leicester in the playoffs. We've got Middlesbrough up next. Obviously, sacked Michael Carrick, got Rob Edwards in. Rob Edwards, good manager, experience of promotion. Have they improved on paper, their team, all that much? Not really. Again, we'll decide our playoffs in a second. We're going to put Middlesbrough in this upper mid-table, and we'll decide our playoffs in a second. Millwall, I haven't really seen them improve all that much. I must say, I haven't followed Millwall all that closely. They obviously did flirt with the playoffs last season, to be fair, but I just don't see it happening again with Millwall, and I think other teams have caught up / potentially overtaken them, so I'm going to put Millwall sort of upper lower end of the table for me. Norwich, obviously got our manager Liam Manning, sold Borja Sainz for good cash, sold Josh Sargent for some good cash, and also, well, not sold yet, but looks like they'll sell him for some good cash. And they've improved as well. They brought in some good players. I think Norwich are going to finish in the playoffs, I've got to say. I think Norwich are going to finish in the playoffs. Oxford, a team that I actually backed to get relegated, but this time round, I'm not. I think they're just going to stay up. I think they're one of the weaker teams in the league, definitely. But I think they're just about going to stay up because Hull, I'm going to swap Oxford and Hull around as 2 teams that are going to get relegated. Portsmouth, on paper, they don't necessarily have the best team, but I think they've got a fantastic manager in a way that he plays football. So for me, I think Portsmouth's slightly better than Oxford, but they suffer with the same issues. Squad not amazing, but I think they'll be safe, just about safe. Preston, I said previously I was a little bit worried about them with the players that they've let go, but they've actually made a few smart signings, you know. And I think Preston could actually finish bang on sort of 13th, 14th for me. So I'm going to put them in there. Who else have we got left? We've got QPR. Don't think they've improved massively on seasons gone by, but they do just have quite a solid squad, don't they, QPR? Feels to me like they'll be sort of lower mid-table. They'll be in the 15th to 21st category. In fact, I just need to make sure I've got enough spaces for these teams. So we've got 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. So we've got too many teams in here. Who's going to be upper end of mid-table from this lot then? I'm going to guess Wrexham. Let's make Preston a bit smaller. Stick Wrexham in there. Sheffield United. I think these are playoffs. I think they're playoffs again this season. We're just going to do it. We're just going to crack them in the playoffs. Obviously sacked Chris Wilder. They'll have a new man. I think they'll be playoffs again. Wednesday. I think they're going down. Club's in an absolute disaster, aren't they? I think they've actually had to close one of the stands because they're unsafe. They had to do that? I think they have. So yeah, I'd be a little bit worried for their match day revenue, alongside the fact that their owner hasn't paid their players. Windass and then their other striker have gone as well. I'm worried for Sheffield United. I think they're probably going to go down. Then we got Stoke. About to lose one of their best players. I can't remember his name. German midfielder. His name escapes me. But he's been a bid's been accepted on him. So I think that reduces them as well a little bit. And then we got Swansea as well. A couple of teams in there. So I think what we've got to do is decide our fourth team for the playoffs and then work out who's sort of upper mid-table, lower mid-table. I think for me, fourth team in the playoffs is between Birmingham, Coventry and Middlesbrough. And I think it's going to go to Coventry. I think Coventry are going to be in there. So that leaves us with 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. So we need one more team in here and one more team to be relegated. Who's going to be relegated? I'll just check it. I've got all the teams as well. Bear with. I don't think I've missed out any teams, have I? No, every team's on here. I'm going to put upper mid-table. Derby in there. Put Derby in there. And then we need one more for relegation as well. We're looking at Portsmouth. Who are my candidates? I think Stoke, Swansea, Millwall, all definitely too good to go down. QPR way as well, too good to go down. Portsmouth, I think on the back of their manager, they're too good to go down. Tell you what, I'd be a little bit worried if I was a Blackburn or Oxford fan. I'm thinking. I had Oxford to go down in the last one. But, you know what? My gut is telling me it could be Blackburn. I think it's between Blackburn and Oxford again. I'm going to have Oxford safe. I think I'm worried about Blackburn. So there we go. That's my table. Hopefully I've done that right. 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. Perfect. So there we go. We got Ipswich, Southampton, 1 and 2. I think, yeah, these are the two teams to go up automatically. Playoffs, we got Leicester, Norwich, Sheffield United, and Coventry. And I think Leicester are going to win those playoffs. Watford, West Brom, Birmingham, Bristol City, my team, Derby, Middlesbrough, Preston, Wrexham, 7th to 14th, upper mid-table. Stoke, they could be upper or lower, pretty much in between. All of those four teams, I think, could be upper or lower, really. Stoke, Millwall, Swansea, QPR, Portsmouth, Charlton, Oxford, and then Hull, Sheffield Wednesday, and Blackburn. It could be Oxford as well. It's between those two for me, Blackburn and Oxford. Yeah, there we go. That's my latest prediction. All right, well, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. If some of those opinions, in your opinion, were a little bit controversial or incorrect, let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Robinson S YouTube channel, which should be just here on your screen. Forgive me, I'm a little bit tired today. You may have been able to work that out from this video. Hopefully not, though. And I'll catch you in my next video.